Glasgow, Scotland, outside the birthplace of James Clerk Maxwell, and there's a museum here dedicated to his life. Maxwell was one of the greatest mathematicians and physicists of the 19th century. He created the mathematical equations that explain the relationship between electrical current and electromagnetic fields. And we've used these equations to create everything from electric motors to, as it says on the plaque here, radar, radio, GPS, and mobile phones. His influence on our modern technology is difficult to overstate, but Maxwell created other equations as well, those dealing with scalar energy and the medium through which they permeate, which he called ether. To Maxwell, ether was a gas-like substance that pervaded the entire universe and was rich in energy. There is a researcher from Cambridge University called Dr. Townsend who has recently published a paper that suggests that dark energy and Maxwell's ether are one and the same thing. And there's a man in Italy who makes devices that generate scalar energy. We are here in Giulia Nova, Italy, and we're speaking to a very special Italian craftsman named Mauro Landrello. He's been working with orgonite and orgone for about 15 years, and more recently he started making Rodin coils. And we met him here today, and we're going to show you some of his equipment. Thank you very much for agreeing to meet with us and talk with us and explain a little bit about your work. The two transverse electromagnetic waves, one's upside down, they have to hit each other and cancel to get a scalar wave.
Yes, for the classical physics they are cancelled.
For classical physics?
For classical physics they are cancelled.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's not something tangential energy.
Yeah, tangential.
Yes, just come out.
The scalar energy comes out.
Yes, we don't have the way to measure a scalar wave.
6 kilos?
6 kilos.
It's the 6 kilo Rodin Coil. It's pretty heavy. He's got an amplifier here that's on Bluetooth, so you get an app on your phone, like a tone generator app or something. What's the app you like called?
The app is a RIFE app. It's a list of frequency for each disease, for pathologies.
You go to your settings on your phone and you turn the Bluetooth on and you select in this case I selected the name of the signal coming from here, and then I press play on the app and it catches the signal here, brings it through and runs it correctly through the Rodin coil, and then you can check it by putting a magnet in the center, and if the magnet's vibrating and oscillating, that means that the Rodin coil is running and it's working. There's another way of finding out that it's working, which is the same thing that happened to me when I first turned this thing on. So today we were talking with Mauro earlier, and he brought this incredibly beautiful piece of art up here, and we turned it on, and I couldn't speak to him because the energy that I felt was so strong. But I felt obligated to speak to him, so I started to try to say something, but he's like, it's okay, I know that you're feeling this right now. So I just put my head down like this, and I just started to cry. I don't tend to break down crying all the time, but the energy that I felt coming from the Rodin coil was so strong that, and I can actually feel it right now. It's a very, very beautiful energy. The way I describe the energy that I feel, it feels like God. It feels like God energy. For those of you who aren't, maybe you don't believe in God, it's a source energy. It's a life force energy. It's something that you have to feel, and it's a spiritual thing. I've moved out of at least 3 different places I've lived in because I couldn't live there. Because I mentioned this in the other video, but because the microwave radiation was too strong for me, I can't sleep, or sometimes I even get like a headache or something. So I'm very sensitive to microwave radiation. Apparently I'm sensitive to this too, because I didn't realize that, but Mauro was saying that I feel it more strongly than he does, and more palpably. So I guess if you were to have one of these yourself, the degree of sensation that you would feel would be particular to you as a person.
First of all, is the life principle developed by Royal Rife.
Royal Raymond Rife developed this frequency healing.
Frequency healing, use of frequency for killing pathogens, or give us a condition of healed.
Yeah,
healed. Yes, like give an equilibrium to a cell.
Yeah.
If you can use frequency for kill a pathogen or for
you can also
tune a cell, let's say, in this way.
You can tune a cell,
yes.
Like impart a beneficial energy to a cell.
Yes, you can use this word.
Tune a cell.
The main work of royal life was on
killing pathogens.
Pathogens.
Destructive resonance.
Yes, what they had the MOR is
mortal oscillating frequency.
Other principle of in this device are built are the use of orgonite, a compound based on resin.
Yep.
And which is organic material.
Organic as in it's a carbon-based molecule.
And metallic material.
Put together. So there's Reif and there's Reich. Reich was a student of Sigmund Freud who came up with the name orgone it's a Western concept of vital energy. In the East, in India and China, they have the concept, it's a similar concept. In China, traditional Chinese medicine, they have qi. In India, Ayurvedic medicine, they call it prana. But the idea of there being a life force energy that's important for health is nothing new. We're talking about thousands of years old. Can you tell us a little bit about Tai Chi is a way to gather Chi from your environment. That's why you see people doing it in parks. Do you have any understanding of a similarity between the scalar energy from these devices and Chi? Are you aware of a connection? Are we talking about the same, is it the same thing, or do you have any?
I think it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the thing. Maybe scalar wave is a concept more wide than orgone energy, but I think it's the same. It's the same concept, which a human being use the scalar wave in his life is produced by his mind.
By the mind?
Yes, I think the telepathic or radionic.
You think it's
scalar wave. This is why it's widely discussed in the radionics community, and still the connection that exists between two living beings, the entanglement.
So what was the name of that theory?
Einstein, Rosen, and Podolsky
paradox.
Paradox.
Right.
Yes, because the two guys were taken. They
lived together for a long time.
2 or 3 months.
They were separated.
300 kilometers.
And then they did certain stimulation to one person. So the other subject with the ECG responded instantly, right?
Instantly.
There's no time delay with
there all kind of stimulation, and bad stimulation too.
No zero.
And this study has been reported as a paradox because they don't have the way to explain this phenomenon.
One thing that I would like to ask you, if it's okay, is you make these are orgone pendants, but they have this one has the flower of life symbol on it, and what do you know the name for that symbol?
Is the seed of love, of life.
Seed of life.
Seed of life. It's a small part of the flower of life.
So if you read Drumballo Melchizedek is his name, right? He has a book called The Secret of the Flower of Life. It's a double volume. But he explains the sacred geometry of the symbol. Spiritually, it explains the beginning of life, the beginning of the existence of life. Is that correct, from your take on it? But anyways, the question that I wanted to ask is, can you please tell us why have you chosen to combine sacred geometry symbol with orgone?
Because when I discovered orgonite, I started to make in a different way, combining all the positive elements that I could find. Those related to the shape of it, the energy given by the shape of it, was really, really good because it's a passive emitter.
The symbol
energy emitter.
The symbol is an emitter, or
yeah,
the
spirit energy. Spirit energy.
But is the symbol emitting it, or is it the combination of the symbol with the orgonite emitting it?
The symbol for its shape emit energy, give
Okay.
energy. And the combination give a pendant, let's say this way, an organ device of particular characteristics. It has also a spiral on the back.
Yeah, can you show that?
Yes.
I'll just flip it around.
It's the same that you find on the snail.
Snail.
Snail. If you look at snail, he has a spiral on the outside, which is the inverse of this spiral because the perspective is
Different, reverse.
it's a change. You should watch the spiral on the way the snail watch inside this.
Inside his shell.
In addition of this, I've used audio frequency during the pouring of the resin.
That's interesting.
Yes, when there is a way to imprinting the frequency during the
creation.
curing,
Curing.
Curing, yes, during the curing of the frequencies that I usually use are solfeggio frequencies. 7.83, which is the Schumann resonance, and frequencies for the chakra. The kind of the stone or mineral used in the pendant give some basic characteristics to the pendant. This pendant that use black, very black, and it has golden seeds of life. Uses black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is and shungite. Both of them have a strong effect against electromagnetic energy. Bad energy too. I mean subtle energy and electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Shone, the black tourmaline. It's very good. It's a very good stone. I remember in the past year some used some productors, monitor productors, used it to add to the monitor.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Yes, the magnetic strip of the credit card. It can store the frequency, and if it's kept to contact to the body, it can release the effect to the body. You can use it to just, if you're using Spooky you can imprint this with a I don't know, frequency, a drug frequency. Maybe you need some aspirin, yes. Aspirin you can put on this and carry with you all day.
But how can you imprint it with a Rodin coil?
It's this kind of strip. Once it is in contact with a strong magnetic field, is recorded on the strip, like the old cassette.
Like an audio cassette.
Cassette, yes.
So is it recording? Like, is it being imprinted because this coil is running now? Is this card being imprinted?
Yes. If I place it, this is. 1-2 seconds.
But the Rodin coil is an emitter. It emits scalar waves. But you imprint this. Is this being imprinted with a scalar wave?
No. Classical electromagnetic wave.
I'm finding, just subjectively, my observation is that while this coil is running, it's easier for me to concentrate than it usually is. My mind can stay focused on what you're saying without starting to think about other things like it usually does. Like
More focus.
More focus. So I'm wondering if it's helping to balance the hemispheres of my brain.
The frequency that has the ability to
synchronize the hemispheres of the brain, right?
To create a pure scalar wave with a complete cancellation of the magnetic field is necessary to invert the phase.
So we just unplugged the two cables from this, and now what are you doing? You just flip them around and then plug them back in again?
This is a common order. The red one, which is the positive, go on the left.
Yeah.
and the black is negative going the right. If we inverse, you see there is no magnetic field. If I remove, one single channel is working. This is a pure scalar wave.
Why are there 3 different wires coming from the Bluetooth?
No, because one is for the power supply.
And what's this one?
This is the other channel. The coil has 2 channels. One is twisted in a sense, and the other, under the ear, is winded in another
Opposite.
sense.
So you can see that there's 2, the wires cross as one's winded one way, one's the other. So I have a question. So right now it's emitting scalar but no magnetic field. But when the wires were not reversed, when the polarity was the same, how or why is a scalar wave generated?
Due to the shape, to the times, the crossing of the string, this type, this kind of crossing, of you know.
Yeah, the way the wires are crossing,
yes,
creates a cancellation.
About 90 degrees, okay, but it's
it's a little
different.
different.
And the first time that I make this, each time I made a new device, I feel something that just for the first time.
Just the first time. So I was explaining to Mauro that the first time I turned on the Rodin Coil I bought from him, I made the video directly after. That was the strongest that I ever felt the effect.
Because it's probably that you have a blockage elimination. What's happened to you today when you use this coil operation that acts on your energetic body, may relieving that blockage. You feel the subject have the same situation.
Emotional release.
Emotional release. Yes, thank you, Mr. Nelson. No, I've seen this scene so many times in spiritual activities, in therapeutic activities like shiatsu, acupuncture, this.
Where people can sometimes have an emotional release. Yeah, I think I've heard.
Yeah, this is they tears, really the people release tears, and that's mean that the energy is flowing. As we told you before, the standing water.
Standing water is not good.
It's not good. That's for the energy. If energy find a wall, a blockage.
Okay. So I'm trained in traditional Chinese medicine as part of my naturopathic medical training. One of the things that we learned was that acupuncture, the purpose of it is to move qi. There's a blockage in the meridians. That's what the therapist is doing, is they're moving qi in order to get a healing. So again, like what Mara was saying, it's about a movement. A movement of this energy is a positive thing. A stagnation is a negative, and I'm just saying that was confirmed with my training as well from what I learned. Can you please tell us why you chose to put your water bottle in the center of the Rodin Coil?
Water can store frequency, a lot of frequency in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it can is the same principle of homeopathy. Okay, this is now is just the information stored into the water. You can drink and release into yourself. Of course, I don't know what how much time the water keep the frequency. Some say about half hour, some say more, some say less. I think with this coil, it can go in about 45 minutes.
What's the benefits? What's the benefit of ingesting water that has a frequency imparted into it?
Yes, imagine the same thing we are told with aspirin.
Yeah.
Imagine you have to take a drugs.
Yes.
You can, instead of take a physical drug, you can use the frequency of the drug, which has a molecular weight, is a formula that reproduces the molecular weight of the drugs and drink it.
Okay.
Yes, the same result.
Just as an aside, please do not stop taking your medication and try this without the health advice of a doctor, and probably no doctor's ever going to tell you to do this. Unless you see a naturopath, they might. But do not stop taking your medication unless you're under the guidance of a healthcare professional, just for safety reasons. It's an energetic residue. It imprinted onto the water, and then you ingest the water. In full disclosure, Mauro gave me this as a thank you for making the first video because it was so well received. And he also bought us dinner last night because we came all the way to see him. But other than that, we have no financial relationship.
Sure. As well.
Mauro, thank you very much for meeting with us and for speaking to us. It was a fascinating subject for me. And it was a real pleasure.
To meet you.
I find it very exciting to learn about scalar energy and its potential application for healthcare, but a second major application, as I understand it, is the creation of electricity or the generation of electricity, potentially limitless electricity. I'm talking about free energy technology. But first, an aside, if you'll allow me to. Behind me is the city of Florence, Italy. Florence was the birthplace of the Italian Renaissance, which was an era characterized by an explosion of ideas, arts, and technology. You might ask yourself, why after 1,000 years of dark ages did Europe relatively suddenly undergo this blossoming process? And the answer, as with most things in history, is multifaceted, but a major part of the reason is that during the 1300s, the bubonic plague swept through Europe. Because it was the job of the clergy to provide last rites for the dying, a disproportionately high number of them were infected with the plague, such that by the end of the pandemic, roughly 70% of the Italian clergy had passed away. What this did was it relieved the pressure that the church had been putting on the people living in these city-states to conform to a dogmatic and theocratic worldview. For the first time in ages, they had the freedom to openly innovate and to share their innovations with others. Now, how does this relate to free energy technology? Big oil today controls trillions of dollars of assets, petroleum assets still in the ground. If a free energy device were to hit the market and become openly available, the value of these assets, as you can imagine, would be dramatically reduced. And when it comes to trillions of dollars, it's not just about the money, it's about power and control. And I'm not just talking about corporations. Think the Bush-Cheney administration previously in the White House. Think Putin and his natural gas-fueled Russian economy. And think the Chinese Communist Party and their state-controlled oil companies. The tentacles of power of big oil go to the highest echelons of our society. You may think, Ramy, if you're suggesting that big oil is deliberately keeping free energy off the market, you're being paranoid. If you'd like a historical example of where a centralized group has suppressed innovation to hold on to power, how about the Catholic Church during the Dark Ages? If you are gifted at math, physics, and engineering, please have a look at the articles linked to below, including the one published in the Journal of Modern Physics from the University of Hull Mathematics Department, where they talk about Maxwell's original equations on scalar energy and how they could potentially be used to draw energy from the ether to create electricity. Also, please have a look at the TEDx talk on Rodin coils and how they can be potentially used to do the same thing if you're successful at creating a free energy device. Word to the wise. Don't go straight to the patent office, because what happens then is they send people over to your house, confiscate the equipment, and you're forced to sign a non-disclosure agreement. What I believe you should do instead is to publish your findings online so that other people can reproduce your work. What that does is it gives you a safety blanket, because if many people are doing it, there's little incentive to silence one person. If you are able to bring this technology forward in a meaningful way, if any of us are able to do so, I think it will be of great benefit to everyone. Thank you for watching.